What's up guys, welcome to Munchkins Gaming, where we take your gaming to the next level. This is Munchkins logging in to bring you another Dissidia Final Fantasy Opera Omnia video, and welcome back to another video guide. In today's video we are going to take a look at the new Transcendence Tier 1 fight. We are going to be going through all of the Tier 1 fights, including the Crucible 1 and Crucible 2 and Reckoning on this video. So we do have a jam-packed, kind of try to do, compress every information in one video. I did think about doing separate videos, but I think I can, or at least I can compress the information enough so that you don't have to watch like 10-minute videos for each and every one just to prolong, the video itself. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Remember to like and subscribe if you haven't already. It does help the channel and I would really appreciate it. So without further ado, let's start this video. Alright guys, so we'll start this off with the Lufenia orb and the fight for Crucible 1. So this starts at 100% and doesn't really go away. You do get plus 5 on the Lufenia orb counter every time the target takes light damage. So characters like Plaid and Cecil, Theodore, and Kuja are going to be really great in this particular fight. Now the bosses can erase buffs, including framed ones, so do be careful about that. Just refresh it, you should be fine. They do have a target lock on, which basically will target one character and they will abuse that, and they do have a high amount of HP damage as well as AoE HP damage. They also have a reduced brave damage. Now the best way to get rid of this is to actually break them. So having re-break characters or characters that can break instantly, like say Ramza or Gabranth, are very good characters to bring along. And speaking of characters to bring along, other characters obviously like Pestle or Keese and Caius can do pretty well here as well. Keese, when you do launch, you use his brave attack to reduce the enemy's brave to 0, which makes things so much easier to break the enemies afterwards. Caius obviously has the Doom debuff. However, you do have to kind of time this right. So yeah, for the summon I did put Alexander here. However, you can bring someone else, or like say Odin, for example, if you want more like overall brave damage. I just put Alexander because for the light damage, in case you do fall short on the light damage side of things. However, like I said, you can definitely pick another summon. And as for how you want to build your team, I do just highly suggest having like some light damage characters and a re-break, or I guess a insta break character, and you should be fine. Now let's move on to the Crucible number 2, which is the one on the right side. The Lufenia orb here starts at 100% and will disappear once you hit less than 80, and will restart when you hit less than 50%. Now you do have to launch in this particular fight. The Lufenia orb counter increases by 8, so Cloud, Keese, Dark Knight Cecil, and Ramza once again very useful in this particular fight. They do have some reduced brave damage, so all you have to do really is to launch the enemies, and they do have some AoE HP damage. I just would like to warn you guys regarding this one, because if you do get broken, it does do quite a bit, and in some cases it's hard to recover, because most of the time both of them will do the HP attack as well, which could make it very dangerous. As for the other characters you might want to bring, I've already mentioned basically everyone, like Cloud, Ramza, Dark Knight Cecil, and Keese. Basically, I would just highly suggest bringing like 2 launchers for this one. So either a combination of Cloud, Dark Knight Cecil, or Cloud, Ramza, or Keese, Ramza, whoever you want to bring, and just have a little bit of support with them. Like for example, Plaid and Cecil is a good support, or maybe Penelo is another good character to bring, because Penelo can also reduce the enemy's brave down to 0, so it makes it easier for you to break them. And she can give you some Brave regen and also some HP regen to boot. Now as for the summon, I just put Pandemonium here because you're gonna be doing launches anyway, so you might as well get the extra HP damage when you use Pandemonium. Alright guys, now let's move on to the final fight, the Reckoning. Let's take a look at wave 1, which starts the Lufenia orb at 100% and will go away less than 80%, and again will come back in less than 50%. It increases by 2 when the player inflicts 2 or more debuffs in one turn. So Gabranth or Caius. Honestly guys, you can use call abilities here if you really want to. It's pretty high, the amount of Lufenia orbs that you get here initially, so you can sort of get away with it, but I would just highly suggest bringing Gabranth along, or Caius for that matter. They do have reduced Brave damage, and the one way to get rid of this is to break them, so you need insta break characters. Again, Ramza or Gabranth are probably the best characters to pick here. They do have some Brave plus HP attack as well. Alright guys, now let's move on to the final wave for the Reckoning fight. The Lufenia orb for this one starts when the boss's HP falls below 80%, and will pause actually in this case when the player unit's HP is at 100%. So the best character to bring along is going to be Paladin Cecil. You can somewhat bring Theodore here as well, since he does have some very good healing. But Pestle, you know, increases your maximum HP, you know, to the entire party. So Pestle is probably the best character to bring along. Now, the biggest thing with this boss fight is actually going to be the HP regen, which will happen when they fall below 80%, 50%, and 30%. In order for you to remove this, you need to launch the enemy, so you do need a launcher for this one. So characters like Cloud, Case are going to be very key characters in this fight, and you can include Ramza there as well. They do have a recast ability which deals massive single target damage. I highly suggest not get broken by this, because even with Paladin Cecil's insane buff to increase your max HP, it can still one-shot you if you're not too careful. So I would just highly suggest not getting broken in this case. So looking into the characters you want in your team for this particular fight, of course we're both including wave 1 and 2. You got Cloud, Paladin Cecil, Gabranth, Ramza, and Keys. Example is going to be Paladin Cecil, insert a launcher and insert an instant breaker basically. For the summon, I opted out using Odin for mine, but you know, you can definitely bring a different summon if you feel like it. Alright guys, so that is basically it for this video. I guess my final thoughts on the overall fight. Honestly guys, this is one of the most annoying fights that that I've ever done. Absolutely. When I was doing JP, you know, this is one of the most annoying fights, specifically the Crucible 1, and of course the Reckoning, which is the main fight. Honestly, I had more issues with wave 1 rather than wave 2. Wave 1 is just too annoying for me, you know. I guess because I didn't really know what I had to do back in JP. I didn't really fully understood what I really needed to do. But I mean, I eventually beat it, and doing it now in global, even though I know what to do, it's still really annoying. So that's all I really have to say. I know this video is pretty much so compressed, and hopefully you guys still, you know, find the information helpful, even though I tried to compress a lot of the information on this video. I just did feel like I could have gotten away. I could get away with compressing the information instead of like releasing 3 separate videos with very repetitive information, right? And at the end of the day, you know, the team that you're going to be getting for the final fight depends on the team that you brought for your Crucible 1 and Crucible 2 fight. So it's very hard to kind of give you a proper like team compositions if you use different characters in those fights. And the one last thing I would add is this fight will be a little bit easier later down the track. You might notice a lot of the characters that I mentioned are basically repeating, like, you know, Cloud, Ramza, Platin Cecil, Keys. So it's very repetitive, the characters that I do suggest, and that's basically because it currently the way that this fight is designed, it's very limited to a certain amount of characters that will do well. So that's all I really have to say. Don't worry if you can't beat it. There will be more characters that can, you know, fulfill the roles that they have put in this particular fight. Unfortunately, I won't be updating this video in the future, so I am only including what we currently have in the global version of the game at the time of this recording. So if you're coming out in the future to look at this video guide and say, hey, you can use so and so, well, at the time of this recording, a lot of those, you know, these are the characters that people mainly use to beat this fight. So it's not an easy fight. This is one of the hardest fights in the game currently. So, but like I said, things will get easier as more characters come out. So all I really have to say is good luck and keep on trying. If you do have the characters available to you right now in order to beat this fight, it does take some patience. So that is it for this video, guys. Please do remember to click like and subscribe if you haven't already. It does help the channel, and I would really appreciate it if you do, and if you share this video as well. You can follow me on Twitter and on Facebook at Munchkins Gaming. Leave down in the comments below which team you use for both Crucible 1 and 2, and of course in the Reckoning fight. Let me know down in the comments below, especially if you're in the future, right? If you're coming here from the future, maybe you use a different party composition. Let me know down in the comments below. This is Munchkins logging off. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next level.